Hey FlossTube, welcome back. This is my 105th FlossTube video, and I'm excited to share with you what I have been working on. But first of all, I want to welcome you. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the things that I have to share with you, and if you are returning, thank you for coming back and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. It is late in the evening on a Wednesday night. It's not when I usually film my videos, but my Saturdays have been really busy lately, and I really wanted to get this video posted. Things have been going really good. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We spent Thanksgiving with my wife's family in Utah, and then had one of my nieces got married in Idaho. So we spent the entire week in Utah and Idaho. It was really great. The wedding was wonderful. I saw some of my brothers that I haven't seen for a couple of years. It's been quite a while since we've been together. We weren't all together. I have brothers that are living, brothers and a sister who are living all over the nation right now. So those of us who were relatively close were there, and it was good to see everybody again. And it was just a really, really wonderful time. Since then, we came back to Arizona, and things have had a couple of really good weeks. Like I said last week, it was really busy for me, and I didn't get a chance to film, but I really wanted to film. Since it's late at night, I'm kind of dealing with a little bit of a light issue than I normally do, so you're going to see glare on this picture back behind me, and that's just the way it goes. I've got out my Christmas cross stitch. My daughter, who is in Tucson, she actually didn't drive to Utah with us. She flew up on Thanksgiving, and she surprised us. She actually came home and put up all the Christmas for us. So we came home thinking we were going to have to put up the tree and get all the Christmas, and everything was put up when we got here. So she even got out my Christmas cross stitch and put it up. So I've shown you this before, but I just love showing these off. These are some of my favorite pieces. This up here, sorry about the glare from the light. This is Village Skaters. It is a design by Stony Creek. This is the first really large piece that I ever stitched. It's been, maybe 25 years since I stitched this. This was the piece that got me wanting to stitch, actually. I saw this and I just loved it so much that I wanted to stitch it. So it's a picture of ice skaters and with a village in the back. And it was a lot of work to stitch. I had not developed my diagonal stitching, so it was a lot of cross-country stitching, very complicated, and I'm really quite proud of that. There is a lot of white on white. There's a lot of white snow stitches that just seem to take forever to stitch. But there's Village Skaters. This over here is Santas of Fable and Fantasy. That is a design that was published in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts back in the 90s. I don't remember off the top of my head what issue it was, but I'll put it in the comments below. I think it was in 1991. And that is another piece that I really, when I saw that design, I really wanted to stitch it. I stitched this a couple of years ago. You guys watched me stitch it. This is The Spirit of Christmas. It is a design by Marilyn Levitt Emblem of Lavender and Lace. And I just love this piece for the classic look that it has. I love everything about it. The wreath, the ribbon, the candles, Santa. That is just a classic Santa. And I really enjoy that also. So we're all ready for Christmas. We've got the nativity set out. I spent a month in Israel years and years ago as part of work. My company was working with a company back then, in Israel back then, and my wife said that what she wanted me to get more than anything else was a nativity set. So that is an olive wood nativity set to remind me of the trip that we had to Israel. So, and you can't see it. The tree is right in front of me, and yeah, we're ready for Christmas around here. Before we go any further, I would like to respond to some questions that were left since my last video. So, Paula asked me on Amid Amish Life why I don't backstitch as I go. And it's just, I don't think that way. I don't think about backstitching as I go. First of all, you have to leave off cross stitching to backstitch. So it doesn't make things go any faster. I don't mind backstitching. I really enjoy it because I love to have everything stitched and then watch as everything comes into focus as I backstitch. So I like that as well. And quite frankly, I don't want to start backstitching and decide where I'm going to stop and where I'm going to start because I hit a border where I haven't stitched. I hit a place that I haven't stitched. I just don't want to deal with that. And so, of course, that means with a piece that is large and has a lot of backstitching, that means it's going to take me a long time to backstitch. But that doesn't mean that it would take me any longer. It's not any longer than it would take me if I stopped stitching to backstitch. And like I say, I really don't mind backstitching. So that's basically why I don't. And I just like to work that way. So Mary asked me which my focus piece is. My focus piece is Amid Amish Life. I'm excited to share with you where I am with it. I've had some good progress, and I'm really starting to feel like I'm getting close to the finish line with that, and you'll see that in a little bit. So Susan asked me, how do you balance your knitting and your stitching? So I don't try to balance my knitting and stitching at all. Basically, this last summer, I ended up knitting more than I was stitching just because it felt like more of a hassle to get out my stitching than it did to just knit. And as I mentioned, I was really exhausted from work, and it was just easier to knit than it was to stitch. It's actually been quite a while since I've knit. So I showed you the shawl I was knitting last time. There's been no progress on that shawl, so I'm not even going to show it to you again. So there's no attempt to balance knitting and stitching, and that's just the way it is. I prefer stitching over knitting, and so it may be that after I finish this shawl that I won't start anything else. I'm not really feeling knitting right now, so, and that's okay. Like I said, I would much rather cross stitch. So Julie asked me if I could tell you what the design that was behind me on the wall, what that design was. And of course it's changed, but I have that design, so I'll get it and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I hope I can do this without getting a lot of glare. This is what was hanging behind me before. This is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. This is basically what it is she just took a bunch of trees from different samplers and put them together in one design. And this is quite frankly one of my favorite pieces that I have ever stitched. It was really fun to stitch. All these trees are wonderful. I really enjoyed stitching this, and it actually went pretty quickly, even though it is a big design. And of course there's a verse from Genesis in the middle talking about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And yeah, so I really like this piece. So this is what it is. I really like Rosewood Manor. I really love Karen's designs. This is the first of hers that I've stitched, and I have a big pile of them that I've stitched. I've stitched another one Winter Quakers, which I should probably have framed. It would be a good Christmas type piece. And I have like a stack of Rosewood Manor designs that I would love to stitch. I don't know if I'll ever stitch all of them, but I have a ton of hers that I just really love her designs. So here you go. This is Andaphora Screw by Rosewood Manor. And it, like I said, this was just a real joy to stitch. Okay, so that is all the questions that I had. And thank you for your questions. The other thing that I wanted to do, and this is mainly why I wanted to post this video, is last time I announced a giveaway. I would like to announce the winners for my giveaway. I'd love to get these out to you so that you can start using them at the beginning of the year. This is a giveaway for two planners, and I announced that there would be 2 winners. And so the first winner is Megan Rowe. So Megan, congratulations. I hope that you enjoy the planner. And the second winner is Gail Gerke. So Megan and Gail, congratulations. I am really excited to send these planners out to you. So if you will DM me, if you will send me your address, I will get these planners sent out to you. You can either DM me on Instagram or you can send me an email. My email address is in the box down below. And on Instagram, I am @blitstitch. So you can either message me or send me an email and I'll get this sent out to you. So that was really fun. Thank you everybody for participating. We had 85 people that participated. And yeah. Okay, so that's about all of the business side of things. Let's talk a little bit about what I have been stitching. I mentioned last time that I was changing the way I was doing my rotation. I was working on a week on my focus piece, which is Amid Amish Life. And then I'm doing about 3 or 4 days on 2 other pieces. So every other week, every 2 weeks, I work on 3 pieces. That will get me through my rotation faster, and I really like it. I feel like I'm moving through my rotation. I'm not getting as much done as I did before, but I feel like I'm accomplishing more. It's more psychological, but I'll take anything I can to make it so that I enjoy stitching better, right? So the first piece that I worked on is this. This is Time and Season Sampler by Moira Blackburn. This was a design that my wife gave me for our anniversary a couple of years ago. And I really like Moira Blackburn. There's like 3 or 4 samplers of hers that I really want to stitch. This is my first of hers. I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I am stitching this on 40 count Mallow by Zweigart. It's not a linen, it's like a linen cotton blend, I think. Kind of a light brown. And I'm really happy with what I was able to accomplish because, as you can see, I was able to finish this section over here. So when I left off stitching on this before, I had this tree about half stitched. So I finished stitching the tree, and I stitched this, and then I brought the border up. So now it's completely completed across the bottom. That feels like a little bit of an accomplishment. And then I also was able to start working on this border over here. I'm able to scroll up in my scroll frame. There's like a row of, I think this like plants and animals and stuff that goes across here that I'll be working on soon. But yeah, this is really fun. I'm really loving this piece. I love the colors. They're so soft and I really like them. So I'll give you a little bit closer look. So yeah, this is Time and Season Sampler by Moira Blackburn. So I spent 3 days on that, and then the next piece that I worked on is a reproduction sampler as opposed to an original design. This is by Cross Stitch Antiques, and Wilkinson, 1834. I started this, it's coming up on 2 years since I started this. And if you've really been paying attention, you'll know that you might have noticed that I kind of, sometimes I work on this and sometimes I don't. I've skipped over this in my rotation a couple times. And I don't know why. It's like I just don't feel like stitching on it. And then when I actually say, okay, I need to work on this, I actually really enjoy stitching it. So I don't know why I have such a hard time with it. But this is by Cross Stitch Antiques and Wilkinson. I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. And this is being stitched on Weeks Confederate Gray, 46 count, stitched with the Versoix 103 silk. And I really like the 103 silk. I really like that. It seems to be very durable and it's very nice to stitch with. So this is what it looks like now. So basically, I'm working on this band that runs across here, and there's a lot of stitching in here. This is 3 days of work. I stitched from about here over to here with the vine, and then 2 blossoms. This flower here, and then I think this is a thistle. So yeah, this band is just, there's a lot of stitching. A lot more than you would think. You'd think that it'd go really fast because it's just a vine that's kind of undulating through here with flowers, but that vine itself has a lot of stitches in it. So, but for 3 days work, I think I did pretty good. I mean, I got two flowers stitched. And this is the halfway point. So everything is going to mirror image. Everything is mirror image across here. So yeah, I'm halfway. Maybe the next time I'll get a little bit further. I don't think I'll finish it in another 3 days. I think it'll take a little bit longer than that. But yeah, this is Anne Wilkinson, 1834. It's a reproduction by Cross Stitch Antiques. And then the third piece that I have worked on since I last showed you is, of course, my focus piece, Amid Amish Life. Of course, this is a design that was published in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts in 1987. The March, May, and July issues of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. It's also in this book, 101 Best Loved Designs from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. It's also in its own leaflet, and it was also published in the final issue of Cross Stitch and Needlework. So there are several places that you can find it. If it just might be a little bit difficult. I think your best bet is finding the magazines. I think that's where people have had the most luck finding it. So I'll show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'm kind of excited about this. Not that I've finished or anything, but it feels like it's really feeling like I'm getting somewhere with it now. So I'm stitching it on 25 count Lugana. The color is Wedgewood Lugana. Since it's 25 count and I was worried about coverage, I am stitching with 3 strands of floss. And it's DMC, and yeah. So I'll show you what it looks like now. So yeah, so I think since you last saw it, I've really moved up here on this side. So you can definitely tell that I have a corner there now. The garden is finally stitched. The garden is all complete, and I don't know that I've been complaining, but that garden I think was the most confetti heavy part of the entire design. So it feels good to have the garden completed. The barn is also finished, and that includes the silo. The silo's finished here. And this last time I finished the second design. Of course, these are 3 designs that are stitched together as one. Over on the far end, you have hanging the quilts. In the middle, you have visiting the neighbors. And on this side, you have tending the garden. I finally finished visiting the neighbors. That's the largest of the 3 designs. And this is an extra wide diagonal that I'm stitching right now. It's actually 17 stitches wide instead of 10 like I normally do. The reason for the wider diagonal is the 10 by 10 grids on these designs don't line up. So I've been working off the 10 by 10 grid over on this 3rd design. And now that I've finished the middle, I want to work with the 10 by 10 grid. So I'm stitching a 17-inch wide diagonal so that I am now aligned with the grid. And that'll just make it easier to move through my diagonals. And it'll also give me a whole bunch of stuff finished. So yeah, I think it's really about all I have left to do is the background that's through here. There's a little house and barn here in the background that we're going to start to see. So I need to finish this field here, and then it's just background. You see this empty space here? This is going to have the alternating colors half stitch. It'll look like this right here, this area right here. So the next time I come through here, this diagonal, I will fill this in so that it doesn't look like there's nothing there. There's a little bit over here on this side of the silo also. But yeah, no, this is really starting to look like it's close to being finished. And I am looking forward to actually finishing it. I hope to finish it by the end of the year. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But I think it will be finished early next year. So yeah, this is Amid Amish Life as published in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. And I'm just really happy with that. So let's talk about a little bit about my plans. So last week I didn't have a lot of time to stitch. I only stitched 3 days, and that was on Amid Amish Life, so it didn't really get a full week. I am thinking either that I'm going to work, and I haven't had any time to stitch this week. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks. A lot of things are going on, and I'm not able to stitch. So when I start stitching again, I'm either going to stitch Amid Amish Life to give it its full due of a week, and it'd end up being more than a week. It'd be more like a week and a half. I'm either going to do that, or I'm going to move on and do the next 2 pieces in my rotation. What are those? There are 2 pieces that I'm looking forward to stitching again. The first of them would be my Medieval Town Mandala by Chatelaine. Yeah, started to hit the buildings over here, and I'm excited to stitch the buildings. So this will be the first one that I stitch that's not my focus piece. And the next piece that I'll be stitching is on my Dragon Quaker by Sticky Dan von der Feenberg. I love this piece too, and hopefully I'll be able to stitch a couple of these dragons over here. I'm getting really close to being able to stitch more dragons. So yeah, so those are like the next 3 designs that are on tap for being stitched. And like I say, I'm really looking forward to being able to stitch them. So that is all that I have to share with you tonight. As always, you can follow my progress on Instagram. I am at blitstitch on Instagram. And you can follow my progress and see whether or not I decide to start working on a Mid-Amish life, or whether I start working on medieval town mandala. So you can do that. As always, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't, feel free to subscribe. That way you can be notified when I post new videos. I always enjoy your comments and would be glad to answer any questions that you have. And feel free to like this video if you haven't also. I doubt that I will be making a video before the end of the year, so probably at the beginning of next year I will do a year in review to review what I've worked on this year, and kind of maybe show you all of the pieces that I am stitching right now. So that's kind of what I'm planning to do next time. At any rate, I hope that if I don't talk to you before Christmas, that you have a wonderful holiday and that all goes well with you. And until next time, we will talk to you later. Goodbye.